What he just said will have Vikings fans pumped up beyond belief for this season, as JJ McCarthy's media address goes to show that he is ready to attack this season stronger than ever, backed up even further by head coach Kevin O'Connell, who can't wait to hit the ground running this season. We're going to break down all of that in this episode of Vikings Digest, but first, if you're a part of the nearly 86% of viewers that aren't yet subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things Vikings, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss an episode when they drop. And with that, let's hop straight into it, which is JJ McCarthy is ready. So in an OTA's media address, JJ McCarthy was talking about a few things, and one of the things that has Vikings fans pumped up is his health and mindset, saying, honestly, I feel physically bigger and faster and stronger. When you get it taken away from you, you take every chance you get to be back out there and really appreciate it, really make the most of it. Talking about getting back with his teammates, getting back on the field, and getting back in Vikings uniform to just show up and show out exactly what we have been wanting to see from him. And on Wednesday, McCarthy dropped throws into receivers' bread baskets down the field, needled them through tight windows, and varied his RPMs to sneak them through coverages at short and intermediate levels, and demonstrated good risk tolerance that is bound to build his confidence on anticipatory passes. So right out the gate here, JJ McCarthy is just playing ballsy. He's going out there and he's just having fun, just really trying to get back and show people that, hey, I'm back at 110% right now, and I'm just ready to just attack this season with all the forces that I have in my arsenal. And when he talks about making those risky throws and taking risks in practice, he says it's about just not being afraid to fail out there and try new things, and afterwards chalk it up and go from there. You learn from it, you emotionally detach from that outcome, and you just keep moving. And now this is going hand in hand with what we've been saying over and over about JJ McCarthy, is that he is not only ready to be just attacking things on the field, but mentally he is just focused on just being in the right mindset at all times, so that the on the field stuff just comes naturally, because the mental game is a huge part of that. Another person who understood that, Tom Brady. There's a lot of quarterbacks that understand that the mental game is just as much of a battle as the physical game and just performing on the field, because if your mind isn't right, you're not going to perform on the field. And JJ McCarthy understands this, and it's why he is determined to just making sure that he's not overthinking things. He's having fun out there, because right now we're just in OTAs, we're just in practice. He knows his job is safe. He's not going to be on any cutting boards or any trade blocks anytime soon. So he knows that he can go out there, take risks, try things that work or don't work, just so that he can find what he can get away with against these other teams, because he's going up against a great defense in practice. We're going to talk about that in a second, but he's going against these teams that we're going to be seeing a lot of bit of different defenses that maybe aren't as strong as Minnesota. So for him to be practicing with them, it just goes to show that he's going to be ready to attack all these other secondaries throughout the season. But when talking about perfection along with the mental game, he says everyone wants to be perfect, especially at the quarterback position. But the more you try to be perfect, it's going to kill you more than your imperfections will. And I feel like this, just being able to accept it, and in learning these and teaching phases, that it's okay to fail and try things and go out there and take risks. As long as you do that, whatever's down the road is going to come when it comes. And this is just even more emotional maturity that you want to see out of a franchise quarterback. He's ready to just take everything that comes with it, roll with the punches. He knows he's not going to be perfect. He's not expecting to be perfect. He's just focusing on what he can control, try and improve things that he knows he needs to improve on, and just continue to just ball out with the things that he is great at. And we're going to see that on full display heading into this season, as we are finally going to get to see what he is made of in the regular season going through. He's probably not going to play a single preseason game. If anything, play one drive and then get his ass out of there, just so that you can make sure that he stays healthy for the upcoming regular season. I know we can't just baby him throughout the whole entire season. He's going to take hits at some point, but if it's not in the preseason, that's a great idea to have, and just say, hey, we know you're our QB1. Let Sam Howell go in there and take some of the punches against these practice squad guys, these third string guys, so you can just focus on just going into the regular season fully healthy. And then it's going to get tough for you. You're going to get beat up a bit, but we're going to try and protect you as much as we can, because if he's going in there in these preseason games, it's not going to be Will Fries back there. It's not going to be Ryan Kelly back there protecting him. It's going to be some backup guys, which they're going to be fine in those preseason games, but these other teams are going to try and play a bit more of an edge. And hey, if they see your starting quarterbacks in there, they're going to smell blood in the water. So that's one of the things that we have to avoid. But one of the things with that as well is practicing against this defense. It's possible to replicate the game feel in helmets practice only, that focus heavily on learning and design keep McCarthy and fellow quarterbacks completely clean from contact. There's an innate advantage the Vikings offense, especially McCarthy, can absorb from going against a defense that ranked first in interceptions and fifth in points against in 2024 and continuing to evolve. So like I said earlier, JJ McCarthy is going against this really great Vikings defense that was absolutely unstoppable at times last season. We got a takeaway in every single game. We were the only defense to do that, and we were probably the best defense in football. Actually, not probably, absolutely the best defense in football, and we are going to just try and keep improving on that to solidify that again this season. But when talking about going against such a great defense in practice, JJ was saying that it's a tremendous blessing just being able to go against that scheme and go against those players the way Harrison Smith plays. You can't get that anywhere else. Just being able to see that every single day is extremely invaluable. It's a copycat league. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more of that from opponents this year, but it's just fantastic to be able to go against DC Brian Flores and those guys every single day. So he's going up against this formidable talent. You got Harrison Smith back there. You got Byron Murphy back there. You got Jonathan Allen about to be breathing down your neck. You got Javon Hargrave breathing down your neck. And then you have Andrew Van Ginkel as well being able to come off the edge or drop back into coverage. So there's a lot of weapons on defense that JJ McCarthy's going up against where, like I've said before, when you look at the Pro Bowlers on this Vikings roster on both sides of the ball, there's not a lot of teams that come close to the amount of Pro Bowlers that we have and the elite talent that we have on paper and as far as translating to the field as well. It's just a matter of getting them all clicking at the same time. That is a problem for the Vikings in the past. Hopefully this year does a job of rectifying that. However, when looking at these guys that he's going up against, he's not going up against any schmucks really by any extent of the imagination. All these guys that are playing in these spots are certified dogs. So with him being able to go against these guys every single day, it's only going to make him that much of a better quarterback. If you're a guy that's going up against a middle ranked defense like Jared Goff, he's going up against a 32 ranked passing defense and a pretty solid pass rush, but he's going up against a defense that's not exactly a top 10 defense. So he's not going to really improve. I know he's a veteran, so there's not a great area of improvement, but we saw him get exposed to hell in the playoffs like we usually do. I'm going to take shots at the Lions anytime I can. Not sorry about it. But with that, we see a lot of teams where Caleb Williams, he's not going against an elite defense. There's some other quarterbacks, they're not going up against elite defenses. Bryce Young, he's not going up against an elite defense every single day in practice. JJ McCarthy is going up against a top 10, top 5, top 1 defense every single day, and that's only going to make him a better quarterback as a result. So that if he's making mistakes, he's making them costly and knowing not to make them again. Some of them he might be able to get away with against some defenses. However, this Brian Flores defense is going to test JJ McCarthy's limits as much as they possibly can this season to make sure that once he's in a regular season game, no matter if the defense is better or worse than the Vikings defense, it's going to be hard to find a better one. It's not going to matter at that point because JJ will be fully prepped because he's gone up against this Vikings defense so much. But it didn't stop there because Kevin O'Connell was also talking about JJ McCarthy and his recovery as well, saying that you kind of forget the fact that this is really his first runway since the injury happened, and I think it's just a credit to the work he put in. There's been a lot of lonely hours where it's him and the training staff and the strength staff and just the work he's put in to get his body where he's at, his arm feeling the way it is, and then of course coming off the injury, his lower body feeling as good as it does, and to move the way he's doing. Like we said, he's moving at various different speeds in practice, making ballsy throws on the run or in the pocket, so he is trying to test that mobility and really make it as mobile as he can so that he's not babying something or favoring it so that it just kind of rusts up. He's trying to make sure that it's all limber and keeping all things moving. But with Kevin O'Connell just saying everything that he's just been continuing to say this entire offseason, how excited he is for JJ McCarthy, his preparation, how he's just been an absolute sponge. He did say in that press conference as well that there's been things that he said in week 10 or 11 last season that JJ is still remembering now, and Kevin O'Connell's just impressed by it. He's impressed by the knowledge, how much he's been able to learn, not only from him, but also from the other players on the team, the veterans, the training staff, the coaching staff. Everybody has just been contributing to making sure that JJ McCarthy is the quarterback to get it done for us and to be our franchise quarterback for the next 10 plus years and hopefully resulting in more than one Lombardi trophy. But we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We still have this preseason and full season ahead of us. to get started, but I absolutely cannot wait to see JJ McCarthy step on the field in a regular season game this year and finally see what he can do. Let us know what you guys have to say about all of this down in the comments, about JJ McCarthy's press conference comments, about what Kevin O'Connell was saying, and how excited are you for JJ McCarthy's season this year, and what do you think his stat line will be? It's not going to be perfect. He's going to throw a lot of interceptions. He's going to throw a decent amount of touchdowns, but how many rushing, passing, and interceptions do you think that he's going to get this season? Let us know what you have to say down in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode of Vikings Digest. I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.